Bum ba bum ba! And today I'm going to be saving you from getting not as much candy as you could get on Halloween. As Halloween is just getting down to really not that far away, you're realizing something. If I'm going to be going trick-or-treating, I want to get as much candy as possible. Now, in this video, I'm not going to be telling you things like change costumes and raid the same house as many times as possible. I'm not going to be telling you anything like that. This stuff is legit, not immoral. At least I don't think it's immoral. But it's stuff to keep in mind while you're planning your Halloween. The first thing is, and this is a you could, you couldn't, and you could do fine either way, is plan what you're going to do. And I say that as in, well, I know my neighborhood kind of well, but I don't want to be going down the same street twice. So you're going to want to plan out, am I going to go down one side of the road and then turn around and go down the other? Am I going to zigzag? You got to think about that stuff, but you don't have to worry about it, but it's a good idea. Another thing is, we all know them, those rich neighborhoods, whether you live near them or not so much. You want to go to those places because those places are most likely to have the king-sized everything! Yeah! King-size Kit Kats, king-size Twix, king-size Three Musketeers, king-sized everything. There's a rich neighborhood that I go to every year, or like the richer neighborhood, and I once went to a house that had a tote. Like one of those totes that you put your Christmas decoration in, full of king-sized candy bars. And I got to get like 2. And another thing about large neighborhoods, as in the rich ones, if you go to the areas that are more isolated by hills and not around a lot of other houses, if their lights are on, you're going to want to go there because those places are more likely to give you more candy because, as I've been told, I've been like the third person at somebody's house. And it was like 11 o'clock. So they're more likely to give you more candy because they realize you are going to be one of the 6 people visiting them all night. And they have a massive bowl of king-sized everything. Another tip is, this one is if you're planning to go with a group, make your group small. So think about this. Imagine it. You're walking up to a door and there's 6 of you, 6 of your friends. You knock on the door, and it's trick or treat. Oh, hi. One piece, one piece, one piece, one piece. I know from before I've been out trick or treating, that before time when some people stop, is that I've done the giving out candy. Later on I went trick or treating, but it's so I see 2 people and I'm giving handfuls, but I see 6 people's and it's piece for you, or 2 piece, 2 piece. So it makes a difference mentally because it's well, there's 6 of them, so they're each going to get 1. Well, there's 2 of them, so handful and handful. It works. Another strategy, which I guess this one could be in between of moral and immoral, but if you bring 2 buckets with you and you're able to leave the other one behind, with a parent or something, make sure that your bucket looks emptier. If your bucket is almost full to the top, it's oh, here's 2 pieces of small candy. Well, your bucket's almost empty and they're thinking this kid got out late. They're going to give you a handful or 2 to help fill it up more. It's a psychological thing. I've done it before and yes, it does work. And also when your bucket gets really heavy and you're trying to lug it up somebody's long winding driveway and then up their 6 flights of stairs to their house, and you're trick or treat, and they decide to put a king-size something on top and you're dragging it back down the stairs and back. It also makes sense to have a lighter load when you're going up to your house. The house, not your house. Don't go to houses that don't look like their lights are on. Unless, of course, you're yeah, we have time to spare. We can, because you're kind of questionable at a house. You could be wasting time. Knock, knock, knock. Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. Knock, 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 knock. I don't think there's anybody here. Let's go. You're wasting time because in the time that you knocked on that door, rung the doorbell, knocked on the door, peered through the window, kind of looked around. And that time you probably could have gone to another house that would have actually given you candy. And if you're the kind of person whose parents are like, you have to be back at 9 or 10, and you're working at a time limit and you're like, gotta get here and gotta get there, or if you live in a neighborhood or go to a neighborhood with a curfew, as in like, you're not supposed to be out after a certain time. That's wrong. It's not necessarily illegal, but like, you're not supposed to be out. So houses will start turning off their lights at that or before that time. So you're like, okay, we want to get here and here, which is farther away, and we have 20 minutes to get to both of those houses, including this whole row of houses. So let's just go for the ones that have like the Halloween decorations in the front, because those ones, like all the lights on and stuff, because all the Halloween decoration lights on and stuff, because those ones will have candy. If they don't, those people are just cool. Now here's the things that you should not do on Halloween to try to get more candy. You should not switch costumes. It's wrong, and depending on what you switch to, it's extremely noticeable. And they might not be like, you were here before, I know that, but they might look at you and think, they were here before, I know it. So they might give you less pieces of candy, and in the end you were better off going to the house next door, who would have given you a nice handful and sent you on your way to the next house. Another thing is, don't use the little brother, little sister technique, like, my little brother's sick at home, or my little sister had to go to bed early so she missed all the trick-or-treating fun. It can work, and it does work sometimes, but it's also just wrong, especially if you don't actually have a little sibling, because some people don't believe the story because they know firsthand that it's not been true. Then there's somebody whose little sibling is actually sick who's being told, no extra candy for you. But it's not for me. But it is. We all know it. So it just feels kind of wrong, I guess, to just say that their sibling is not there. Especially, and like, it especially doesn't work when it's like 7, not quite dark yet, and you're starting to go to a couple of houses, and it's like, yeah, my little sibling had to go to bed. It's still bright out. I know kids do have curfews of like 7 o'clock, but on Halloween, I'd expect a parent to at least stretch it to 8. This actually happened to me once. It was not on purpose, but this is a don't for the do's and don'ts of trick-or-treating and getting more candy. Now, I was really little at the time, and I had my little Halloween bucket hanging around my waist, and the guy who was giving out candy was out in his driveway with like a nice little fire going because it was cold out at night. So he's out there and he has a bucket and kids are like reaching in for it, but there's like a whole bunch of kids. And a kid reached into my bucket by accident and took a large Kit Kat bar. Luckily my dad did catch it, but don't take other kids' candy. Like if you have the opportunity and it's like, oh, trick or treat, and there's some random stranger and you're like going to grab a piece of candy while you're snatching another one with that. Don't do it. That's another thing that's just, it's immoral, it's wrong, it's not right. I don't know how else to put it, but don't do it. It's, like I said, wrong, not right. And keep in mind, it's one piece of candy that you could very easily be getting at the next house. And for all you know, especially if you're not looking into the bin, you could be grabbing your least favorite candy and putting it into your bucket. And then that kid could love that candy, and you're just kind of like, I don't want this candy, give it to the dog. Don't give candy to dogs. Don't do it. Or cats, or parrots, or hermit crabs, or guinea pigs, or hamsters, or ferrets. Whatever pet you have, don't give them candy unless it's animal specified treats for them. Don't just be giving them your leftover Snickers. But that about concludes today's video. I hope you keep these tips in mind while you're trick-or-treating, because trust me, you'll get a decent amount of candy. And comment down below your strategies for getting more Halloween candy when you're trick-or-treating. And so that concludes this video. Slap that like button, subscribe, hit the bell, be swell for more content like this. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching more stuff on October. Who knows what else? Goodbye!